When most people think of scuba diving, they usually envision beautiful corals and fish, or perhaps even the exploration of a shipwreck. But there is another type of scuba dive, one that not many divers have had the chance to experience. Imagine being in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, tethered to a dive boat, suspended in over 4,000 feet of water. Now imagine what that would feel like in the pitch black darkness of the night. A blackwater pelagic night dive is not for the newly certified diver or the faint of heart. But with the proper equipment, training, and experience, a blackwater pelagic night dive will open your eyes to an entirely new diving universe. A universe of liquid inner space, where you will feel like you're on a spacewalk surrounded with alien life that only science fiction could imagine. There will be a maximum of 6 divers that will be tethered to weighted lines that hang 45 to 50 feet below the surface. We will all be connected to these weighted lines by a 10-foot extension rope that will allow us to easily move up and down in the water column. Without the use of this tethering system, there would just be too much danger and risk of losing a diver to the vastness of the deep, dark oceans. Now let's join Neil Hogenboomer of Jack's Diving Locker for a little bit of night school, a brief look into some of the creatures that we may see, and also what risks may be involved with some of the animals encountered during a blackwater pelagic dive, or as Jack's Diving Locker from Kona, Hawaii likes to call it, pelagic magic.
But the first thing that I want you guys to notice is where we are. You are the furthest from any continental landmass that you can get in the entire world and still be on land. All right? All this ocean around here. You can't get any further from any continent than where you are right here in Hawaii. Okay? We benefit from this with this particular dive. The other way we also benefit is that this particular island, measured from its base that you are on, is the largest mountain in the world. It's larger than Everest, measured from its base. So what does that mean? We get lots of depth really fast. And that's what we're looking for with this particular dive. When they started doing sonar mapping of the bottom of the ocean, they came up with what they called the false bottom. Anyway, they were doing mapping of the bottom, and at night they found that the bottom of the ocean would rise, which of course is completely absurd. Of course the bottom of the ocean isn't rising. It's trillions of organisms that come up from the depths every single night. Okay? And it's essentially zooplankton. I know that's kind of a not too sexy term, but that's really what this dive is all about. Zooplankton is an all-encompassing term that covers around 20,000 different organisms in various different stages of their life. And basically it depends on where they are. There's various different kinds of plankton. There's like holoplankton and zooplankton and all that other stuff. It depends on what depth they're at. But they all live out at depth. Okay? Lots of invertebrates, lots of larval fish. 92% of all the bony fish here in Hawaii, they lay eggs here on shore, then those eggs hatch, and then they immediately go out into the pelagic ocean. Anybody guess why?
To eat?
Well, yeah, that kind of. It's more about safety, all right? Instead of being quartered up here, you'd rather go into this vast desert, right, where you have less of a chance of being picked off. So if you guys see something out there that looks like it lives on the reef, it probably is, right? Things like eels go out there. Almost all the fish that you probably could possibly imagine, except for, even frogfish go out there. Things like that, or most species of frogfish. But the majority of the animals that you'll see tonight, you probably never heard of or seen before. Lots of them are invertebrates, and they are born and evolved in this amazing, weird world where there's nothing for them to put their back to, and all it is just thousands and thousands and thousands of feet of water. Right? And that's generally what we're here to see on this dive. This is really a dive of small invertebrates. When you're out there, it takes a little bit of getting used to in order to even start looking for the majority of these things. You're used to being on a reef, seeing something in the background, someone pointing it out, or seeing it yourself. Not in this case, right? Again, just the vastness, the openness. And these things are generally small. Most of these things out here are predators, and this is an outstanding example of one. Okay? It is, of course, an invertebrate. It is a colonial animal. Right? What you're seeing is one animal. There's tons of different animals all living together doing different jobs. Right? They form the guts. They form the skinning cells. They form this thing up here, the pneumatophore, the thing that pumps water, that gets them going. Okay? but this is all a huge colony of animals all working together at the same time. They will sting you. Certainly, try not to touch this stuff. Right? This species in particular can get really big. They get about this big, the bell gets that big. Super cool. And you'll see it coming at you, and their tentacles could be almost 10 feet long trailing behind it. That is something to be concerned about on this dive. If you see something, right, coming straight at you, you're not exactly going to know how long it is, right? Sometimes you're watching it, it comes straight for you, and then it comes by, and you're like, oh my god, Jesus, get this thing out of my fruit. It's just all over the damn place. That happens very often. So we're out there in this dark environment, and we all have these huge lights, all right, out there in the middle of nowhere. We're going to attract attention at some point, all right? Things are going to know that we are there with like thousands of lumens blasting around all over the place. Eventually, something's going to come along or see us from afar and get there. And this is generally one of the first things that we see that we attract. Okay, they're a pelagic squid. They're about, let's say, this big. Their body is. Okay, they don't see your black wetsuit against the black background. That being said, I have been hit in the face, in the nose, in the mouth, in the neck, in the thigh, in the groin, in the chest, in the arm by squid just coming out of nowhere and going right into me. Okay, it doesn't hurt. It feels kind of like a wet Nerf ball being thrown at you. It's really more surprising and shocking than anything else. That's something out of nowhere. You just feel it, right? Then you're going to see a big cloud of yellow ink, and then both you and the squid are probably going to be looking at each other dazed.
Alright, Captain Matt's taking us out to sea. Pelagic Black Water Dive, my first one.